Hi, folks. Um, Welcome to Scholarbot Tarot. Just call me Mayfield, and thanks for joining me at a study space. uh, so we're actually going to get directly into it because there's not going to be very much editing magic on this video, and it's going to be very difficult for me to put anything other than the relevant links uh, to other creators like in the description. But I just wanted to start off with hashtag TarotTube 2026. I mean, how dare I? I haven't posted anything in like what, a year, but I felt kind of drawn to this one because it did actually get my brain going. So let's just go ahead and get started with our first question. So, what originally drew you into the tarot community? Well, it actually started with me investigating the Murder of Crows limited edition. At that time, I had pre-ordered a copy through Barnes and Noble, and it was refunded to me and listed as sold out. So I just sought out videos to just get more information to see if it was canceled or something, and that just kind of led me to discover hashtags. Excuse me. So the first one I watched was Queen Osset's VR to Moon Baby. I believe it was called Tarot Collectors or something. And if I'm being honest, like it felt pretty nostalgic. I felt like going back in time. I don't know if anyone remembers when VRs were like a mainstream thing on YouTube. I want to say it had to have been like 10 years since I had seen something like that. So I thought that was really cool. But anyways, I still revisit like Queen Osset's video every once in a while when I want a little bit of inspiration. And I guess to the point of the question, like I suppose what drew me into the tarot community was just the diversity of collections that people had and just how they interacted with each deck. So I thought that was really cool. Question number two: um, what has being part of TarotTube taught you about yourself? It appears that I am an extrovert only when it comes to my hobbies. I unfortunately just need community with this shared interest in order to uh, fully enjoy the experience. I mean, I guess that's not an unfortunate thing. That's a very common thing in any learning space, I think. But I do also find it to be a little weird just because tarot can be such a personal self care practice that not everyone would be interested in sharing with another person. But I also realized that I enjoy just the process of making the video too. It definitely gets at that creative itch that I have every once in a while. Question number three: what moments made you feel most connected? There are lots of moments like that. I recall like a live stream run by Kim from the Abundant Life Tarot a while back. I want to say Queen Osset was also on there, and so that was a really nice little moment. Finding out that Benabel Wen actually watches some of my videos, that was trippy. Auntie K asking me for feedback on a deck, that was a lot of fun. A lot of hashtags that just kind of get the mind just going. I guess I just kind of always feel connected whenever I can see just the community having this collaborative element to it in this form of VRs. I also do feel connected when I see comments that are asking me just about my opinions on things. Like every once in a while, I still think back on someone who commented on my Hexen 2.0 video, just kind of checking in on where I'm at because, I mean, the new edition of the Hexen 2.0 just come out, but a little more on that later. So I'm always thinking about stuff like that, and I always really appreciate when people make that extra effort to comment on my videos. Um, what moments? Oh, I already said that one. What lessons have helped you grow, even the uncomfortable ones? Just kind of knowing really early on that the tarot community is just a microcosm of a larger community. It just falls under the same rules as most fandoms and imagined communities. There are just still structures of racism and other forms of discrimination that exist. We still have biases that we need to process and work through in order to grow, and I am no exception. I'm always willing to kind of learn new things, just as as I keep on doing this YouTube thing, and even just like being a general person. Like, I hope to think that I would hope to be, a lifelong learner. Next question. How does the tarot community feel to you right now? I don't know if it's me, because I've been on and off just logging into this channel. But even before I went on hiatus, it feels a tad disconnected. To me, there's a lot of community, or I guess a lot of my community that I feel has stepped away, or just they're just reevaluating their relationships with social media, as many people are, or the greater political climate also, as many people are, which I believe is a net positive. But I also noticed that just a lot of tarot tubers that I followed, they're just no longer making content, and that just makes a huge dent in awareness, especially like for Black creators, which then makes a huge impacting on just crowdfunding and the well-being of Black-owned marketplaces. Like, what the hell happened to Indie Deck Review? But anyways, it's neither here nor there, I guess. So I'm going to do the same thing that Laura from Aquamarine Tarot and Books did, and I'm just going to put part 2 in here as well. Yeah, may as well. So what kind of tarot content do you want to create in 2026? Literally anything, which is why I'm here. But more specifically, I would like to record some scripts that I do have completed. I think there are like 3. I have 2 Penny for Your Thoughts. I have a more informal video on the philosophy cards, which is like an existentialist tarot deck. And I have a brand new hashtag that I wanted to initiate for Halloween 2023. It is now 2026, you guys. But of course, I'm more than happy to record it. I just need to I need to make the time to be able to do it. Other projects that I hope to begin, the Hexen 2.0 and its sequel, the Hexen, I think it's called 5.0, have been released. And I'm expecting a copy of that tonight. And I have been working on just like I guess for lack of a better term, like my own like little white book for Hexen 2.0, because I know one of the biggest complaints, so to speak, is that the Hexen 2.0 doesn't have much of a further explanation for each of the cards, which, fair. Next question. What kind of tarot content do you want to watch more of? Currently I keep my hand on the pulse of Lisa Pepez's and I guess Danny's hot takes, just to see what the mainstream community is excited about with future deck releases, especially indie deck releases. But I am more excited about the niche conversations that are happening, from content creators like Laura from Aquamarine Tarot and Books and Sapling Tarot. They seem to be super cool. What kind of tarot content are you ready to disengage from? Videos that look a little too perfectly staged and edited. Perfection is not in my headspace right now, or in my lifestyle right now. It's really all chaos and finding joy as I wade through the primordial waters. I swear I mean that in the best way possible. What values matter most to you in a tarot community? The same thing that I value most in academia, to be honest. Transparency, authenticity, a love of learning, diversity, equity, and just collaboration from one person to another. What boundaries feel important for you as a creator or a viewer? Always keep in mind on this channel, we create discourse, not war. That's never changed, and I try to keep that, in mind with all of the videos that I make, as well as in the comment sections. And of course, we do so in good faith. We ask questions in good faith. So I try to make as much of a safe space as I possibly can, at least on my channel anyways. Plus, and I can't stress this enough, no AI. Not in tarot arts, not in thumbnails, not in, writing the script or journaling or whatever. I mean, am I the tackiest person in the world for just holding that boundary? Sometimes it feels like that especially in academia, or I guess surprisingly in academia, where AI is just being non-consensually just thrusted upon us in our work. Um, let's not pretend like it's not drying our water and changing the anatomy of our brain. But I digress. That's just a boundary that's kind of non-negotiable for me right now. Um, how do you want tarot to feel in your life moving forward? For now, I just want it to be there. I am still in my practice. Right now, I'm averaging maybe about one reading a week for myself. And that includes, the journaling aspect of it. And I am still purchasing decks every once in a while. By the end of 2027, however, I do want it to be something that I play with just a little more consistently. But TarotTube does keep the exercise alive, and it keeps the interest alive. Not that I'm not interested in tarot outside of TarotTube, but I always appreciate just these new hashtags and just people talking about tarot because it does make me want to stay in the conversation. What kind of energy do you want to bring into the tarot community in 2026? I really liked what Lauren said about her time being finite. I felt that in my bones. That's kind of where I'm at too. And I'm very selective about where my time, energy, and attention goes, especially since it is currently just so precious and, as Laura said, finite. So I do want to be really intentional about the videos that I watch and about the discourse that I engage in. This is generally what I do in my own life anyways. I mean, while my personal life has been full of joy and just accomplishment, I do find that this world is not really the one that I hope to see for myself or for others. So just the onslaught of just so much stuff that's flung our way in 2025 and 2026 is just meant to kind of bog us down. I try to stay the course with just a couple of things that I'm really passionate about and that I really believe in, as opposed to being just overwhelmed by all the terrors of the world. So that's kind of where I'm at. I recognize that it just doesn't have to be this way, but here we are. What do we do next? I guess it's kind of up to you and kind of up to me, isn't it? Anyways, on that oh so happy note, that is my attempt at hashtag tarot 2026. I'm really happy to hopefully just dunk this video onto YouTube, and I'm very happy that you chose to watch this video. Thank you guys so much. Remember to make discourse, not war, and I will hopefully see you sooner than later. Bye.